You just got wrecked.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Kind of a quiet day in the markets. I'm going to be quite honest with you. Most of the coins doing really nothing. The majority of the market is actually slightly down today. Now, if we have a look at traditional markets, we have the S&P, lots of stocks basically going sideways. So what is going on right now? Lots of lack of movement and maybe even some uncertainty due to the fact that we do have the presidential debate happening later tonight between Trump and Biden. So there might be that uncertainty. A lot of traders kind of waiting to see what the overall stance is in the US particularly, right? Also on my iPhone today, I had a random update. I don't know if you guys got this, but it was like an alert saying that the virus, which shall not be named, apparently is getting worse again in my area, which is kind of weird. I don't know what's going on with that. Let me know if you got that update on your iPhone. A little bit strange. So there might be that uncertainty. We also kind of put in a little bit of a Bart Simpson pattern right here, where Bitcoin just kind of pumps up, we go sideways, and then we fall down again. So I do want to talk about that uncertainty. I want to discuss the fact that we still do, regardless of the uncertainties in the markets, have an on-chain data, which actually has been quite good at predicting bullish moves for Bitcoin. Now, this particular indicator actually flipped a massive buy signal back in March. Now, had you taken that signal, you would have done very well, right? Well, it's actually increasingly showing more opportunity for buying, and it hasn't flipped bearish just yet. And I want to discuss what that is. And I also want to talk about the fact that we have one single entity that purchased 17,100 Bitcoin last week alone, which is about $182 million of Bitcoin today. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, who cares? That's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. Yes, but keep in mind that at a rate of only 900 Bitcoin being minted per day, that represents over 2.5x the entire weekly supply. So we need to talk about where is this demand coming from? What is going on? What should we expect? You guys know the drill. If you're not subscribed, well, definitely consider it. We'll keep today's video a little bit shorter than usual, and let's dive directly into the chart. So I don't have much to talk about today. Not a lot has changed. In fact, virtually nothing has changed since yesterday. Like I said, overall markets down only about 1%, right? Having a look right here, though, you will notice that we were concerned about hitting this level right here on this asymmetrical triangle on futures, and we are getting rejected at this sort of heart line right here, and we are probably most likely going to end up back down around the $10,300, $10,400 level if we're unable to break through that today. Now, that doesn't mean we need to get bearish. We could still bounce around sideways toward the apex, which we're still looking for a big move the third week of October, right? So you may have a couple more weeks to accumulate the Bitcoin. It might get a little bit boring. We're still sitting at that significant level at the $10,700 level right here over on the macro. And just to kind of point out the area that we're in right now, to sort of start getting really bullish again, right? We kind of got to break back into this zone above the $11,000 level, and to start getting not bearish, but maybe we might start downtrending would be if Bitcoin was to pull below 10,200. Right now, can't really say much. We're sort of in the middle, no man's land, kind of where we should be, sort of even looking at the overall stock to flow ratio, right? So like I said, not much to update on that, but as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it could just be that uncertainty sort of before this presidential debate that is happening tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you know what time that is in your time zone, I don't know. I can't convert it for all the world's time. But yeah, so that'll be happening in a few hours from now, right? So there might be that uncertainty as well. Now, getting off the topic of politics and talking back about Bitcoin, we've been discussing a lot of on-chain data recently. I'm a fan of on-chain data because it actually shows you what is happening. Price is great, price is speculative, but looking at things like addresses, hash rates, miners capitulating, right? Those are things that really help us to understand the hidden picture behind the Bitcoin price movement and what's really happening. Now, since March, we have had a buy zone signal of the Bitcoin hash ribbon indicator that has proven in the past to be an amazing catalyst for Bitcoin. In fact, just this year, just back in March, it flashed by, and that would have been a pretty good opportunity to sort of scoop up that cheap Bitcoin, right? Now, here is an interesting thing. Willy Woo actually mentioned in an interview that the hash ribbon has been in the buy zone since March, but it recently broke out of the zone, suggesting that Bitcoin could be looking for a further uptrend. The basic theory of the hash ribbon indicator is that a Bitcoin bull cycle begins when miners capitulate. Now, if you don't know what capitulation is, basically, this goes for traders, miners alike, but it's basically when they sell a massive amount of Bitcoin or smaller miners get shaken out. Capitulation could also occur when Bitcoin is too low for mining to be profitable. And usually you see what's known as a capitulation wick, which we actually did see during that scare on Black Tuesday when we had that crazy dump all the way down and it wicked all the way back up, right? It's essentially signaling that a prolonged Bitcoin rally could come next based on the capitulation cycles. And this is it right here. And analysts over at Glassnode, they said Bitcoin difficulty ribbon compression is trending up and broke out of the green buy zone for the first time since March. Historically, these have been periods characterized by a positive momentum, indicating significant Bitcoin price increases. So we do know it's a time of uncertainty, could get a little bit crazy out there short term, but fundamentally and on-chain, things are looking massive. Now let's talk about the fact that during the past 7 days alone, Grayscale Investments has purchased 17,100 Bitcoin worth $182 million using today's exchanges rate. The company's Bitcoin position is now close to 450,000 Bitcoin worth roughly 4.7 billion. So that means that if you take all of the total Bitcoin held by Grayscale right now, they have 2.14% of the entire Bitcoin supply. This is insane. If this doesn't show you the demand for Bitcoin, I don't know what does. And not only to mention that, but we know that the halving actually cut the amount of Bitcoin coming out in half. So now we're getting roughly, keep in mind it's based on block time, not actual time, about 900 Bitcoin per day. So 900 Bitcoin times 7 days is only 6,300 Bitcoin, whereas they literally purchased 17,100. So the demand for Bitcoin is actually higher just simply by Grayscale alone than the amount of Bitcoin actually being mined right now, currently by miners. Now, I don't have to tell you how simple economics work, supply versus demand, but if you're having demand skyrocketing and you're having supply staying the same or actually even getting smaller, right, because of Bitcoin halvings, well, what do you think is going to come out of this, my friends? I think 11 years of Bitcoin history could give us a hint as to what to expect moving forward. But if that's not enough, you want to talk about some more Bitcoin fundamentals, let's talk about the fact that according to a Medium report by CryptoBuyer, the crypto solutions platform has launched Venezuela's first Bitcoin satellite node, giving the region always-on access to the Bitcoin network. Basically, this means that the infrastructure of the nodes will allow users to bypass the need for local internet connectivity in order to conduct Bitcoin transactions. So you don't even need to be connected to the internet to send a Bitcoin transaction. You always hear people say, well, what if the internet goes down? How then Bitcoin becomes useless? Well, let's be honest, guys. If the internet goes down, most of your banking is probably going to be useless. In fact, I went to the bank this morning, wasted a 20-minute drive there just to literally, my bank's on the other side of town. I really should just get a closer bank. But anyway, point being, I wanted to do a wire transfer. I was looking to purchase something and their system was down. Their system was down. So I ended up wasting my trip. Probably why the video's coming out maybe a little later than usual today. If I had to send some USDT, or some Bitcoin or some Ethereum or an ERC20 token, I could have that from here to the other side of the world in 15 seconds, right? If you're using Ethereum, okay, if you get a really slow Bitcoin transaction, 10 minutes. Okay, well, at least I can do that from the comfort of my own home. Their own stuff doesn't even work. It was down. They couldn't, the system was down. Come on, guys. Let's get with the times here. So yeah, anyway, getting back to this, the node is connected to the satellite network provided by Bitcoin infrastructure startup Blockstream. So there you go. Venezuela circumventing sanctions, not to say that you should do that, but they probably who wants to own the petro? Obviously, that thing has not been doing quite well with the hyperinflation. But yeah, so that is that situation. Now, I do want to just mention this story. This is a big story that's going around right now. So we had Eminence Finance, which was the unfinished DeFi protocol by Andre Cronje, who's the founder of YFI. Apparently, it got exploited overnight by a hacker who was able to drain $15 million from Eminence, but then returned $8 million to YFI. Why? I don't really know what's going on with that. They don't really know why they returned the funds. Now, what is it? Well, essentially, Eminence is a card gaming protocol developed by Andre Cronje. Here is the chart. This chart is just crazy. My goodness. Have a look at that dump. Wow. One trader, they said, lost $130,000 in 1 hour by depositing funds in Eminence. Wow. Can you guys imagine losing that much money? That is, I actually feel really bad for that person. They say that while traders are ultimately responsible for any lost funds deposited into unfinished and unaudited protocols, Cronje's actions, i.e. teasing about the retweeting of Eminence's project before it was completed, could be held responsible, according to some members of the DeFi community. Cronje said, given some of the responses, let me be clear, do not use random contracts I deploy unless I reference it in a Medium article. The contracts I deployed yesterday were purely for myself to engage with. So how do I feel about this? What is my opinion? Well, you guys know how I feel. Honestly, at the end of the day, if you want to blame Andre for, talking about it, it's not really his fault. It's kind of the investor's fault, Like I say on this channel time and time again, don't invest more than you can afford to lose. And, if you're going to follow the hype train and get burnt, well, it happens, guys, like I've been burned many times. Listen, I'm not, I've been burned a lot of times. Let me just say that. I've lost a lot of money in crypto in my past 3 years, but I've also made a lot of money. And sometimes you do have to go through those situations to learn how to sort of do your own research, not FOMO into, these crazy pumps and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it was unfortunate to see. Now, this is what I was talking about in my video yesterday when I was discussing, just be careful out there. There's going to be a lot of these DeFi trends, regardless of who was promoting it, who was shilling it, Andre, this guy, that guy. Look, at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own trades and your own money. That's it. This is the wild, wild west. It's crypto, right? But ultimately, you do have to, be safe to your own research. But I just wanted to bring something up, kind of talking about, I said I was going to mention it yesterday, but pretty much there is this really cool cryptocurrency project that I've been talking about. It's called XBTC. And pretty much it's a rebase token, right? So by the way, if you're watching the price, don't freak out. The price did go down on this token, but keep in mind that it adjusts based on a rebase. So the amount of tokens changes. I actually kind of forgot myself, checked this morning, was like, oh my God, the price fell, but then checked my wallet. I actually had more tokens and I'm actually up dollar value than I was yesterday, even though the price fell, right? So don't freak out if, the price is moving, because basically what this is doing is it's pegging itself to altcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance, altcoin dominance. So essentially, a lot of people want to get in on the altcoins, right? I think that this is an incredible hedge against the Bitcoin dominance versus the total cap of altcoin dominance. Now, you could see right here, having a look at coin market cap. So obviously Bitcoin dominance used to be very high, always basically above the 90%. But then once we sort of had that Ethereum boom, 2017, right in the beginning, everybody was getting excited. These ICOs came out, all these different tokens came out, right? And once again, we have had the DeFi craze. You could see that even though Bitcoin has recovered, it did get down to about 33%, which was absolutely nuts. That was the peak in January, right? When that was when you had like altcoins 100, 1000 Xing. You basically couldn't even screw up with, just pick an altcoin. It'd be up 5, 10X the next week. The good old days, right? But what I'm trying to say is, instead of trying to figure out all these different altcoins, you could just buy some XBTC and you can hedge yourself against the Bitcoin dominance falling lower, which personally I actually do think it is going to fall lower. You guys know I'm all about Bitcoin. You guys know how I feel, but I do think that because of, DeFi and all these coins, I do think Bitcoin will continue to kind of lose its dominance over time. And because of that, I actually hold XBTC. It's not a coin I'm looking to like flip or anything like that. I actually hold this as a hedge against the Bitcoin dominance. So check it out. Not financial advice. This isn't like sponsored or promoted or nothing like that. I actually just think XBTC is a pretty cool cryptocurrency, and if you're wondering how it gets its data, it actually aggregates the data from CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. So it's literally pegged to virtually every altcoin out there. So like I said, this isn't a quick flip for me. This is literally I'm holding this as a hedge, but guys, check it out. Could definitely be pretty cool. Also in yesterday's video, I think it was yesterday's video, we were talking about the DEXI sale. Just so you guys know, the public version 2 is open. Round 2 is open. Anyone can purchase this. There's absolutely no minimum or maximum of personal cap. And obviously each round lasts 24 hours. Obviously, the earlier you get into the sale, the more opportunities that are available to you. You will be able to stake it. Now, some people might be saying, well, why do you want to stake in a sale? Well, obviously, guys, I'm not promoting the sale. You guys know that. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your funds, but I just want to point out that, we had spoken about BuyDAO on the channel. Now, they had a very, very long sale. They took a very long time to get out. However, if you were patient and you did get an opportunity to get involved in BuyDAO, that was about 1 cent, but they did 30% power staking basically it was like a year and a half almost. So at 30%, you were able to get a decent return by the time you were done staking. And now it's up, 1.5x. It went from 1 cent to 2.5 cents. So yeah, just by simply staking and holding, you made a pretty penny. I think you made between 3 to 4x on your initial investment. And, it's up 50% today. So, having a look at something over here with DEXI could be something similar. Not saying to get involved in it, but just check that out moving forward, guys. Now, we have spoke a lot about Polkadot and, Ethereum, right? And you guys know I'm a fan of Polkadot. I'm not going to keep shilling it. I like it. We'll leave it at that. But Ethereum is also trying to step up as well. Let's be fair. They are looking to do their ETH 2.0 implementation. They're also looking to incorporate with a lot of these scalable solutions, right? Layer 2 networks, which if they do get these integrated, like Uniswap said they were potentially going to integrate a layer 2 solution, that could definitely be difficult and become a lot of competition for these other guys, right? Like Elrond or Polkadot or Cosmos or whatever other projects we're looking at, right? Well, PlotX is actually a non-custodial DeFi protocol that they're now calling the Uniswap of prediction markets. And these guys are actually looking to integrate with Matic network layers 2 solutions. So like I said, this could potentially be sort of Ethereum trying to fight back against these other ecosystems, right? So these guys, they had a seed round of 2.4 million. They had guys like NGC Ventures, Brilliance Ventures, Origin Capital, 3 Commas invested. 3 Commas, excellent tool if you guys ever use them for trading. I used to use them a lot more back in the day, not as much now that I'm using more decentralized applications, but definitely 3 Commas is pretty cool. Anyway, PlotX is launching on the Ethereum mainnet with the first version of its automated market-making algo for predictions on crypto assets. Now, it says that markets on PlotX are created by the community via an on-chain governance vote. Once markets are voted, they can be created in perpetuity, for any user for 1 hour, 1 day, or 1 week. Actually, if you want to sort of see what it looks like right here, let me see if I can just refresh this. This is sort of like an example right here. This is actually the alpha. If you're interested in checking it out, you can see you can choose hourly, daily, weekly. And if you don't know how to use it, just come up here and click how to use. And they actually go through a really good tutorial if you guys are interested in that. But, essentially, users can participate in the markets by staking their ETH or Plot tokens, which will get launched alongside the mainnet. And they are promising they says that it's a promising project that is arriving at a key juncture in the evolution of the DeFi ecosystem. It could be the permissionless tool of choice to take bullish, bearish, or neutral positions on various crypto assets, including ERC20s. And also one more little bit of, I know lots of altcoin news today, but hey, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I do want to mention the fact that we have the OIN DAO, which is a cross-chain layer 2 platform in which you can leverage your existing OIN by staking the tokens to mint the stablecoin USD01 pegged to USD, is released in the beta form now. The full version will include the ability to stake the ERC20 tokens to mint their own respective stablecoins. So basically, why should you stake OIN? Well, they have mining rewards that are available to those who stake. The OIN rewards will be redistributed according to your proportion of your total stake, leveraging the stake to mint the USDO. You can increase your stake in OIN, and also pooling is available through other platforms as well, including Balancer. So here's just an example of how this works. Very simple if you guys have used any of these decentralized applications. MetaMask is usually the go-to. You know, you just go up here, connect it, and then you are good to go. So that is it for me, my friends. That is all the news I have for today. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. It will be interesting to see how the markets will react to tonight's debate. May have no effect at all, but it could be why a lot of people are kind of just waiting right now. You know, just kind of like chilling out, seeing what happens. What does this have to do with Bitcoin? Isn't Bitcoin non-correlated? Well, kind of not correlated, but it still is kind of correlated. Let's be honest. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel, guys. I know that it might seem a little bit boring right now, but I promise you, and you know if you've been around, that it can get real exciting and real crazy real quick. So don't get too comfortable just yet. Could be a good opportunity to accumulate. Could be the calm before the storm. We shall see, but that is it for me. We do have to look forward to the monthly close, which is coming up. Very important day. We're all looking forward to that. So we're going to talk about that, obviously, on this channel. Thank you so much again for coming back. You guys rock. You are the reason that I do this every single day. My name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.